Hello everybody, Joe Bagdones here, and welcome back for another episode of One. I guess, if, depending on the torrent you download, or whichever version of this game you legally acquire, you need to manually make a save folder in the, in the game's main file. So, yeah, I had to just re-click through everything, and here we are. So I was very concerned when I wasn't able to, save or load or do anything like that. That's not a good feeling when you first boot up the game to start a recording session. But through the power of Google and old Fua novel forum posts, I was able to persevere and overcome. So let's get into it. I forget where we were. Are we talking to Nanase here? Cool. No log. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Hi? Morning, Nanase. It's morning for me, too. I got my coffee, my fresh pot of coffee made, and the old coffee in my cup from yesterday. Nice 27-hour-old coffee sitting at room temperature. Colder than room temperature, actually, because it's in the ceramic mug that was by my window that still has my AC unit in it, so it gets very cool in this room, which is actually a nice thing, you know? Fuck, I had to fiddle with the settings, too, so I can't remember. Fuck it, nope. BGM too high. Pump up the voice. There we go. I think that's right. What's wrong? Are you feeling okay? That's a complete non-answer, but okay. I see. That's good. You're right there in front of me, so it won't do to have you feeling down. Well, if you, vomit all over the desk, it's going to be pretty uncomfortable for me to just have to sit there. If I see someone who's unhappy, it starts to get me down, too.
そりゃいいこと聞いたわ。すると、私が不機嫌でいると、あなたは日に日に弱っていくわけね。
Yeah, sure, let's go with that. Let's pump the BMG down one more. There we go. Let's all remember these settings for next time. 836. So will you, right?
いざとなった時、最終手段よ。
Before we can each work out how serious the other is, Hige appears and morning homeroom begins. As usual, by the time lunchtime comes around, I'm met with the sight of the boy surrounding Nanase's seat, lunches in hand and eager to chat. What does this music make me think of? For some reason, I'm getting a picture in my mind of Harvest Moon. Even though I've only ever played Harvest Moon on the N64 over at a friend's house. But I think it's that little bit right there. Go back 5-10 seconds from where I'm talking right now. That particular to my irritation, my seat keeps getting shoved around. We're gonna throw some throw shoulders. What is this, fucking Baiji Kwan? No, I meant to say throw some elbows. Yeah, let's throw some elbows. My irritation having reached the boiling point, I forced my way into the throng of boys.
そうなんだ。七瀬さんって面白いね。
It seems she's fielding a barrage of questions from everyone. This many people here, it's probably impossible to tell who's talking. I think I'll cool down their enthusiasm with a few crowd-dispersing comments.
ねえ、その髪の結び方、可愛いね。
Thanks, but actually, this is a wig.
その制服、前の学校のだよね。それも可愛いよね。
Thanks, but I haven't taken it off for 2 years now, so it really stinks. Don't get too close.
そのリボンも可愛いよね。
Thanks, it was my granddad's beloved stomach band. It was kind of his favorite one.
No.
The effect is immediate. The boys are steadily withdrawing.
あれ？誰か私 私の代わりに答えてない？
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up, dude.
Not at all. It's me, Nanase. Call me Nani P.
って、
Nana P.
誰よ
There we go.
あんた。
Ugh, crap. She's worked it out. I quickly pull back before Nanase catches me. At any rate, there's no way I'll be able to eat here. I guess I'll go and take refuge in the cafeteria. On the way out, I spot Nagamori slurping away at her milk. She's with her female friends, though, so I decide to walk by without saying anything. Oh, hey! It's, yeah. It's the crew. Cool. We got Yui. We got, you can't see my mouse when I'm pointing at them. We got Yui. We got Haruka. We got, these are... Yeah. I totally remember the main character's name from Moon. Don't worry about it. And, Yoko. No Dat Boy, though. In the end, I get the feeling that it's, I'm not gonna think too hard about what her name was. Sorry, I have a bad memory. In the end, I get the feeling that it's just about as noisy here as it is back in my own seat.
あー、いた。
It's Nagamori, who has come over to look for me.
さっき無視したでしょ？
Well, yeah. I don't have to talk to you at every available opportunity, do I?
一人で食べるんなら言ってくれればいいのに。
God, fucking makes me think of fucking high school. For some reason, like, my senior and junior year, in, like, all my lunch classes, none of my friends were in them. So I would just grab, like, fucking... I was gonna call it a burrito, but... Okay. So my school lunches, they weren't great, but they were cheap. They were, like, $2.15. You got, like, fucking... quote-unquote burrito, a drink, and like some applesauce or something, you know, standard fare. But for like a couple bucks, pretty good. Except I hesitate to call it a burrito. It was more of like just it had all the ingredients of a burrito or wrap, but like it never, how it was made never like coalesced, and like when you're eating, you're like, oh yeah, I'm eating a burrito. It's like, oh, I'm eating a tortilla with beef and other things in it, you know. It had that kind of vibe to it. But because I was all alone, and by my lonesome in that lunch period, I would just go to the computer lab because I was on pretty good terms with the marketing and accounting teachers who use them. So I was just sat there in the computer lab alone, eating my lunch alone, playing. Well, I was really just wanted to play ROM hacks on the PC of like fuck, which one did I really like to play? It was like Super Mario Bros. But you could pick like all the different Nintendo characters, so you could like play through it as like Samus or Castlevania. What's the dude's name? Simon Belmont? Yeah. Or Link? That's really what I just wanted to do. The teachers were slightly concerned, and I'm just... Well, they were at first, but then I'm like, oh no, I just like... There's no one in that period I know, so why would I just sit around at a lunch table by myself? That sounds even more depressing than being like, oh, fuck it, I'll just go play some fucking video games. And that, once they fucking realized that was my angle, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. Why, you saying I should pull up a chair and eat with you guys instead?
私だけでも抜けられるよ。
At least let me eat lunch on my own.
一人で食べてるとね、行儀悪くなるんだよ。音立てて食べたりとか、肘ついたりとか。
I don't get the whole elbows on the table thing. It's like the most comfortable way, because to have it where like your forearms are on the table, one, that like pinches the nerve in my arm, and I get like a tingling feeling in like my pinky and ring finger, which I don't like. And 2, you have to sit like really far away from the table, so you're like hovering over your plate or bowl or whatever tray you have your food on. She really is set on being my guardian, isn't she?
だから言ってあげるよ。
She sits down in the seat facing mine. Chomp chomp.
おいしい？
It's delicious.
おへってさ、
What?
一口が大きいよね。
Let's bump the voices up a bit more. I couldn't care less about something like that. We spend the rest of lunchtime engaged in this kind of trivial conversation. The best kind. Okay, Nanase, let's go home.
ちょっと待ってね。いつからそんな仲になってんのよ、あんたと。
What's the big deal? We're going home anyway, right? Might as well go together.
おあいにくさま、私には用があんのよ。
Okay. Follow her? Okay. Sure, why not? Whatever you say, guide.
ねえ。
ん？
どうして後ついてくるの？
Oh, no reason in particular.
なんかあからさまに怪しいけど。
It's just your imagination.
あ、七瀬さん帰り。
One of her male groupies calls out to us from the end of the corridor.
もう少し用がある。
残念。今度家教えてね。
That's a little weird. That's a little weird, my guy.
機会があればね。
Still pretending to be a cute girl, I see.
それじゃまるで私が男みたいじゃない。
Got pretty close with that vicious true personality of yours.
あんたにだけよ。
Do you really want to be popular that badly?
あんたには永遠わからないわよ。この女心は。
Nope. To me, it just looks as though you're forcing yourself.
で、どこまでついてくる気よ。
Oh, I'm not trying to follow you at all.
私は今から茶道部の見学に行くの。だから暇人の相手してられるのもここまでなの。
Like you do something like that. Tea ceremony club? Like you could do something like that. Give it up already. In your case, you'd be there with one hand on your waist, shouting, "I can't drink in little sips like this," and then chugging all the tea down at once. Glug, glug, glug. I know. You should go to the milk club. You seem like you'd really fit in there. Why?
もうほっといて。
It's like a thunderbolt's just landed.
もう金輪際私に話しかけないでいい？
Look, all I did was work out what you were suited to. Nanase flings open the door to the tea ceremony club room, her face still flush with rage.
一回しねえアホ。
With that parting shout, she slams the door closed. A few minutes later, she weakly opens the door again.
断られた。
From inside appears a Nanase on the verge of tears. Why? Well, it's only natural, given the brutal entrance you made. Go off and die, dumbass! That was a little too much, wasn't it? Nanase descends the stairs in silence, this time arriving in front of the art club. Going for the art club this time, huh? In the end, any club will do, right?
違うわよ。
It has to be refined, ladylike.
初めから美術にも興味あったの。
Knowing you, it'll turn out the same, even with the art club. You'll probably shout, "I can't paint in little strokes like this," and splash paint on the model. And then slam them into the canvas while yelling, "Rah!" Go to the fish print club. It makes for great stress relief. The what?
だからほっといてって言ってるでしょ。
Well, it's just that when I imagine you pressing those lively fishes one after another, I get the feeling that it'd really suit you. What the fuck are you talking about? This time, she flings open the door to the art club room.
百遍死んでウジ虫でも生まれ変わって声ダメで過ごしてる。
With that parting shout, she slams the door closed. A few minutes later, she weakly opens the door again.
断られた。
Once again, she comes back looking like she's about to cry. Yeah, I saw that one coming.
くー。
She silently walks down the corridor, her shoulders clearly sagging. I'm beginning to feel a little sorry for her. Cheer up, Nanase. I give her a few pats on the head.
あんたに言われたら泣けてくるわ。
There are plenty of good things about you, Nanase. I can tell.
何言ってんの？
For example, well, for example,
何よ。
I can't say it. Not right to face her while she's glaring at me like this. Yeah, let's give up. Forget it. It's not good to lie. Even once to cheer someone up.
何よ。例えばって止まって。
She's fine. Her hair's a bit of a weird, dark shade of blue. Like, you don't see this particular, like, I don't know what to call it. I'm thinking, like, the only thing I can think of to describe it is, like, if you imagine, like, a piece of candy that's blue raspberry flavor. Like, that. That's it. Like, the place I used to work, we had, like a slushing machine, so, you know, like, frozen drink, yada yada, slush flavor. And, like, the blue raspberry, like, syrup flavoring was, like, that shade of blue. Huh? Oh, right. For example, you've got a cute uniform. It's easier to say it when it's aimed at an indirect object.
え？制服が？
I don't know. I'm not feeling the skirt. I like have like the same kind of like print towel on my golf bag that I use to wipe the club faces if they get muddy. Yes, your uniform.
まあ、私も好きだからこうやって着続けてるんだけどね。
Can you do that? Like, I mean, like that. There's like a school uniform for this school. Does the administration just not care as long as you're wearing a uniform? It was just a filler line, but surprisingly, she actually looks quite happy. Yeah, that uniform really makes you who you are. Without it, you would just be Nanase. You just wouldn't be Nanase. It's starting to become ambiguous whether I'm praising or insulting her.
あのね、この制服はね、スタッフのところがね。
Yeah, it has like one, like, you know how like in most like sailor uniforms it kind of has like the two strands coming out where like the scarf is tied off. It just has the one. How do you manage that? My scheme's starting to come unstuck as she starts pressing me for the details. Look at the time, Nanase. I vigorously thrust my watch into her face.
ああ、そんなに近づけたら見えないって。
I better be heading home.
あ、そう。
Yeah, what about you, Nanase?
私まだ用あるから。
Okay, see you tomorrow then. Smile you later, loser. Bye.
じゃ。
Ikumi, that's her name. Fucking Ikumi. That's the protagonist of Moon. Fuck. God damn it, Captain. You're getting my head messed up. Fucking Muv-Love, Moon, all these fucking VNs and Japanese names that sound similar. I did it, guys. So if you're writing those comments down in the comments section, delete it right now. Because I did it. I don't need your help. It's just late at night and I'm sundowning. It's fine. I quickly make my exit. Somehow, I get the feeling that the distance between us has closed just a little. By this time, the entrance hall is all but deserted. In the distance, I can hear the shouts of students sweating away in their club activities. Guess I'll head home. Changing my shoes at the shoe shelf. I pass through the entrance doors. I have a hard time with the mixed with my fat tongue and my do I have an overbite and underbite? Slight overbite. You know, make it a fucks with my mouth. Crossing the deserted after-class courtyard, I set off on the road home. As usual, I eat dinner by myself and laze about in bed while watching TV. By midnight, my sleepiness has hit its peak. Still covered in my blanket, I turn off the lights and the TV. Turning onto my side and closing my eyes, I fall into a comfortable sleep. I can't imagine going to sleep at fucking midnight in, like, high school. Like, fuck that. Like, at, like, latest, I was asleep by, like, 10:30 because I had to be up by 6, have breakfast, pick up my friend because I had the car, and drive us to school. And my, like, senior year, like, the summer of my junior year into my senior year, my family, we moved, like 20, like, not 20, but, like, 10, 15 minutes down the road. And I could have gone to a better school. It had academy in the name, and, like, there were completely separate buildings for, like, all the different years of classes. They had, like, their own theater department building, their own, like, automotive department building. But no one wants to be that guy who transfers in senior year. Fuck that shit. So I just drove, like, the extra 20 minutes to go to my old high school, even though it was out of the school zone. Because, like, that other school I could have gone to, like, it's the public school if you're in that town, but they accept people from outside their school zone to go there if they pay tuition. So, fucking money. I can see an ocean that goes on forever. Why is it that I find something like that so moving? I try imagining myself thrown out there, right in the middle of that endless sea. I can reach out, but there's nothing to grasp. I can flail about, but there's nothing to touch. Well, there's the water. I can extend my limbs, but there's nowhere to reach. A world with nothing but the horizon. Yes, an entirely different world. A world in which time doesn't pass, and there are no destinations. But not a world of despair. That was when I first realized that this was eternity. I could feel it, cast down to that great ocean. That's why now, looking out from this little beach, I cast my mind back into that distant horizon. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Nothingness. Forever adrift on that ocean with my consciousness sealed away. I was a being of nothingness. I was, and I was not. But before I knew it, I had embarked on a journey there. You good, bro? You want to talk to someone? It's morning. Awoken by some kind of noise, I cast a glance through the half-opened eyes at the clock by my bedside. The fluorescent hands and numbers drift palely into sight within the dim darkness. Squinting hard through my half-closed eyes, I try to force my blurry vision into focus. 6:30? You gotta be kidding me. Take another look at the clock. 6:30, alright. A whole hour before the time I usually wake up. What a fucking bum. What was I thinking, waking up so early like this? I pull on the bed sheets and close my eyes again in order to recover my precious sleeping time. I don't know, if I have an alarm set and I wake up like an hour before I'm supposed to, and try to go back to sleep, I just wake up like every 5 minutes to be like, oh, I didn't miss my alarm, did I? Nope, okay, back to bed for 5 more minutes. I can't sleep. It's true that I'm feeling sleepy, but there's something else preventing me from sleeping in peace. I can hear some kind of noise coming from outside the window. Sound of rain. Really? That really helps me go to sleep. Once it starts to bother you, the sound of rain just doesn't leave your ears. I softly crawl out from under the blankets and open the curtains. Sigh. As expected, it's raining outside. The sky is covered by thick black clouds that completely drown out the sunlight. Driven by the wind, pellets of rain are forcefully flying into my room. Slept with your window open? In December? What? Something flashes in the distance. Or does he mean like into as in like the direction up? Right afterwards, there echoes a sound that rumbles through the ground. The rain seems to grow stronger, as if being urged on by the thunder. What terrible weather. I mutter to myself, sighing before closing the curtains. Imagine living in a place where it's warm enough where in December there's still green leaves out on the trees and it rains instead of just snows. The view disappears, and once again, my room is plunged in a faint darkness. By now, I've completely lost any sleepiness. In its place, I feel the onset of hunger. Guess I've got no choice but to get up. I give up on returning to bed and quickly gather up the things I need. Then, slinging my bag over my back, I head outside of my room. I'm in the living room on the first floor. I fumble for the light switch before turning it on. The deserted living room becomes illuminated. I see, Yukiko-san must still be asleep at this hour. Guess it can't be helped, given how busy with work she is. I quietly move into the kitchen to prepare breakfast, taking care not to wake Yukiko-san. Rummaging through the cupboards, I find a stash of 4 packages containing sweetened buns. Not a bad haul. I open the fridge and take out the half-consumed orange juice, flicking open the cap with my fingers and pouring it down my throat. No! You live with someone, don't drink out of the carton. Oh, you fucking animal. I mean, I drink out of the carton, but I live alone, so I can do whatever the fuck I want. But if you live with people, no. Virtually pouring 2 of the buns into my stomach, I stuff the remainder in my bag. Something about this translation, they seem to really like using the term pouring for like solid food objects that, you know, stuffing would probably be a better word to use. That'll spare me from having to pay for lunch today. I take my time dressing myself before leaving the house. In the end, I didn't see Yukiko-san at all. Are we ever going to see her? Or is she just going to be like spriteless in the background? Why don't you go on ahead by yourself? I bet that's what she'll say to me. Nagamori's sullen expression drifts into my mind as I walk along with my umbrella raised. Still, it's not as if I promised her we'd go to school together. I casually glance up at the sky as I formulate my excuse. Rain all over the country today. Snow in Hokkaido, huh? I think back to the weather forecast I saw this morning while walking through the asphalt-bound residential district. What is it? I know Hokkaido gets snow, but I think it's like, I want to say it's the northwestern part of like Kyushu, like on the Sea of, is it the Sea of Japan? Between Japan and China? Yeah, it is. On that side. I'm pretty sure that like that side gets snow too. So it's finally getting to that season. No wonder it's so cold. Caught up in an uncharacteristically deep nostalgia, I take a leap across a giant puddle appearing in my path. The droplets of rain drip off my umbrella and dampen my uniform. There's a 90% chance that this weather will remain until tonight. At least according to the TV this morning. But looking up at the blackened sky, I get the feeling that there's little room for doubt. Casting a gaze over the scenery of the town from under my umbrella as I walk, I stop upon catching sight of something. It's a gaping opening within a row of residential buildings. It's a field of grass. Still here. And now Now this brings back memories. I speak without thinking. Even though it faces the street, it's surrounded by tall weeds, so you can't see inside. It's almost like a child's secret base. When I was a kid, it was a habit of mine to come here after school and play until sunset. The weeds had been so much taller than me back then, and now below my line of sight. I was sure this place was gone by now. Several of the other empty lots have already been turned into new residential buildings. Half out of nostalgia, and half out of curiosity, I step into the empty lot. The ground squelches and sinks as it bears my weight, having soaked up plenty of rainwater. This place hasn't changed one bit. I feel lonely just being here. That's the sort of place this is. Oh, hey, what's up? There, I find a girl standing by herself. A familiar uniform. She must be from my school. There she is, standing in place of nothingness while staring into empty space. Yeah, you letting it set in too? And never let it set in. There's something mysteriously picturesque about her figure. That's the sort of girl she is. With a gradual movement, she turns to face me. It seems she's noticed me looking at her. I've seen that girl somewhere before. Satomura Akane. A classmate of mine, although we definitely aren't close. Actually, we've never exchanged so much as a word. We gaze at each other, conducting a silent conversation, more commonly known as eye contact. Nah, I'm just kidding. Still, it'd be impolite not to greet a classmate you meet on the roadside, huh? Hey, what are you doing in a place like this? Ugh. Set back right from the beginning. The least you could do is remember the names of your classmates. The girl repeats the word in a calm, or to be more precise, emotionally flat voice. It's Orihara. We're in the same class. Ugh. That's twice I failed to get this conversation off the ground. Oh, just thought I'd say hello after running into you in a place like this. Her tone is blunt. Well, actually, that's all. Got $5? Me? No, nothing. I nod as I reply. Okay, I'm glad we got our situations established. There's no nod from her as she replies. Sa! Lightning? Or is that just the rain? Okay. The rain shows no sign of weakening, falling in a thick curtain that divides us. So, what are you doing in a place like this anyway? No, not at all. It's no good. I'm at my limit. Well, seeing how neither of us has any business with each other, I'll be going on ahead. She calls out to me from behind as I'm about to leave. Though her voice is as toneless as always. What? She stares straight at me with those eyes. Sad eyes. Lonely eyes. Why? Do they look like your eyes? Eyes look as though they're clinging on to something. Alright, cool. She turns away, her gaze shifting away from me and back to the empty space. And with that, she falls silent. You'll catch a cold standing there in the rain like that. She has an umbrella, she'll be fine. Her expression is unchanging as she murmurs. I see. The sky remains covered by cold black clouds, and the rain shows no sign of weakening into a shower. I head for school on my own, leaving Satomura behind in the empty lot. The rain beats against my umbrella, driving my heavy footsteps onward. Heading through the school gates with my umbrella in full bloom, I make for the entrance hall. Nagamori catches me as I arrive in the foyer. Foyer? 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 Yeah. Or is it foyer? I feel like... I don't know, man. I don't use that word. I'm not fucking fancy. Breathlessly voicing the complaints I had anticipated.
部屋の外から呼んでも全然返事しないし、私てっきり不先生がたたって倒れたんじゃないかって。
Sheesh. My shoes were gone from the hallway, right?
なかったけど。でもまさか公平が早起きするなんて考え
Yeah,
ら
you
れ
could
な
have just
かっ
worn them to bed. Even so, if my shoes aren't there, there's no other possibility, is there?
た。もしかしたら靴履いたまま寝ちゃったんじゃないかって。
Like hell I do that. Do you think the odds of me going to bed with my shoes on are higher than those of me getting up early?
そうは思ってないけど。
Forget it. We're wasting time. I quickly enter conversation and change my shoes. Oh, hey, you know about that weirdo? Hey, Nagamori? Suddenly, a thought comes to mind. Call it to Nagamori while she's opening her locker beside me.
何？
What sort of girl is Satomura? I decide to ask her about the classmate I met this morning. Nagamori is a girl, of sorts. She should know more than me when it comes to information from the girl side.
同じクラスの里村さん？
Yeah, Satomura-san from our class.
可愛い子だよね。
Yeah. No, that's not what I mean. What I want to know is...
おはよ
She cuts me off to greet someone behind me.
う。おはようございます。
Oh, is this your track? Okay, nice. She responds to Nagamori's voice with a light nod.
ねえ、本人に聞いてみたら？聞きたいことあるんでしょ？
I don't... You can't really go up to someone and ask them, hey, what kind of person are you? I mean, you could. It'd just be really weird and kind of a hard question to answer because you have to get all introspective and, like, really think about it. And I don't like thinking about those kinds of things, so I'm gonna stop this train of thought and move on with reading to distract myself so I don't have to think about that. She whispers into my ear. Nagamori, I'm asking you because she won't tell me. Heaving a sigh on the inside, I decided to try to speak to Satomura anyway. Hey, it seems we meet again.
はい。
So, what are you doing in a place like that anyway? Girl just standing there in an empty lot during a storm. Seems like a pretty natural thing to ask. Don't tell me you were doing radio gymnastics? No? If it wasn't that, then... She walks past me without a word. Oh, come on. Why don't you tell me? As she's leaving, she slowly turns around to face me.
ラジオ体操です。
And with that, she turns around once more and heads down the corridor. I can't help but watch until she disappears into the crowd of incoming students. To put it simply, Nagamori, I begin to speak again as Satomura disappears, as if just remembering our conversation.
何？
What I wanted to ask
無
was,
口な人だよね。
is that all you have to say? Is that the only opinion she has after seeing that exchange?
そろそろ私たちの教室に向かわないと遅刻するよ。
Yeah, you're right. After having gotten up so early, it'd be stupid to be late over something like this. Just then, the sound of the chime rings out.
走らないと。
Yeah. Following Nagamori as she breaks into a run, I leave the entrance hall. But I take a glance behind me. Even now, I can still see those big drops of rain falling outside the wide open entrance hall doors. She stood in the middle of that shower, with eyes that looked like as though they were about to cry. Oh, don't worry, bro, that's my eyes too all the time. It's just how I look. At least, that's how it seemed to me. Just, what is this feeling I have?
本当に遅刻になるよ。
Yeah, I know. I begin running to catch up with Nagamori, who has gained quite a lead while I wasn't looking. Thanks to a rush, we managed to burst into class before the homeroom teacher. Exchanging greetings with my classmates, I take my seat. Just then, Hige comes in, and another day begins. The boring morning lessons only serve to exasperate my yawning. I glance sideways across the class to the opposite side of the room, to a place which I had only been oblivious until now. There sits my classmate with her notebook open, dispassionately copying down the words written on the blackboard. After I stare at her for a while, she realizes that someone, well, me, is looking at her. Putting down her pacer, she turns to face me. Okay. What the fuck? I know clearly they're referring to like a pencil or something, but where on earth do they use pacer as a word for like writing implement? We're going on a Google adventure, everyone. Let's see. I'll just Google my question. What countries uses pacer to mean pencil? Ah, it's Australian slang. Ugh, gross. Specifically for mechanical pencil. Okay. I guess? Oh, I see. It looks like it's a brand. It's a brand name of like mechanical pencil in Australia. One of those things where, you know, like Velcro. Like Velcro is a brand, but everyone just calls, you know, the fuzzy stuff with the hooks they put on to something to keep it from moving. At Velcro, even though the Velcro company wants you to call it hook and loop, because if everyone agrees that yes, this thing is Velcro, that's its name as like an item, they can lose their trademark. So yeah, call Velcro hook and loop. That's my tip of the day for you. But now we know. So yeah, this was probably translated by an Australian. Ugh. Gonna have to delete this off my hard drive afterwards. Ugh. Our eyes meet. Is there something you want from me? Well, you're staring at her. Says her reproachful look. No, not really. I see. Her gaze returns to her notebook. What is it? She turns around once more to face me, as I'm still looking at her. Oh, nothing. I see. Her gaze falls back upon her notebook once more. Deciding that I've had enough, I too turn around to look ahead again. It's almost as if we're really communicating. This time, I turn in the opposite direction. Beyond the droplets clinging to the window, I can see the pedestrians on the street. A multicolored array of walking umbrellas. Rain. I hope it stops before the end of class. I spend the rest of the morning classes thinking about this. It's the end of the fourth period, lunchtime. Everyone begins to move accordingly to their own paces, their own plans. Fuck. Let me take a big old sip of this coffee here. Fuck. I try to make like slurping noises on the coffee, but it just ended up fucking getting like a big droplet right down my windpipe. Ugh. Some head towards the cafeteria. Others begin running for the cafeteria bread. Some push their desks together and form their own circles within the classroom. Don't push them, pick them up, you'll scratch up the fucking linoleum. And someone else sits at their own seat. Someone else sits at her own seat, poking away at her fucking what? Chanko nabe. Sure, man. She actually goes to the trouble of giving me a response. Maybe she's more conscientious than I thought. Anyhow, most people have a fixed pattern of action, but that's where I'm different. Day by day, it's completely random for me. The only person who might be able to read my movements at lunchtime is Nagamori. What's more, I'm about to do something extraordinary even by my standards. Taking out the lunchbox, 2 sweetened buns I stuffed in my bag this morning, I go in search of a certain classmate. Hey, Minami!
なんだ
Minami turns around as I call out to him. Sorry, but lend me your desk for a while.
なんだ折原また妙なことに使うんじゃないだろうな
What do you mean, something weird?
この間机を何段積み上げられるかに挑戦してただろ
I mean, like, singular desks? Seems like there'd be a pretty clear answer to that, like maybe 4 before you hit the ceiling. That didn't really go down with the audience too well, so I won't be doing it again.
さあどうだか
Seems that with the colorful record I have, it's hard to get people to trust me. It gives me a suspicious look. Look, all I want to do is eat lunch at your desk.
普通にか
What ways other than normally are there to eat lunch?
お前なら何か新しい取り方を編み出すかもしれない
Even I don't have that much time on my hands.
どうだか
Seems I won't be able to get any agreement out of him while I'm still on probation.
おい何やってんだよ南早く学食行くぞそうだったな分かったすぐ
Wait, we haven't finished our negotiation yet.
分かった分かった貸してやるから
Nice of him to ask, though. He could have just, like, waited till fucking this Minami guy left to go to the cafeteria and just use it anyway without asking. Great, thanks. I'll make sure you get a nice surprise in return.
いらん
He snaps before hurriedly leaving. Wasn't easy, but we've reached an agreement. Negotiations complete. With this, I've secured his desk. I sit down in his seat and turn backwards. Hey, fancy seeing you here. My gaze meets that of the classmate sitting in the seat behind mine, Satomura. This is no coincidence, of course. It was my intention all along. What should we do? Give me the answers, guide. I don't want to go on the wrong route by accident. I'm so scared. You want to eat lunch? Since I'm here, why don't we have lunch together? How about it? She puts the lid down on her lunchbox and wraps it up in her handkerchief as though nothing had happened.
ごちそうさま
Hold on. You haven't eaten yet at all.
お腹
Even so, it's not good to have leftovers. There are plenty of gods living in that rice, you know? If you don't treat it properly, you'll receive divine punishment.
今日はサンドイッチです
I'm pretty sure that's just a saying, my guy, not literal. Well, even so, there might be at least half a god in there.
いません
Turning aside, she walks out into the corridor. All that's left is her lunchbox, wrapped in a girlish pink handkerchief. Somewhat frustrated, I continue to sit there in that unnatural posture, facing backwards as I chew on my bread. A lunch spent facing an empty desk. This bread sure is tough to eat without a drink. Still, despite choking several times, I managed to finish it all. Man, I had the fucking driest chicken wrap in the world when I was in Qatar. Before we'd go out on our missions, we'd stop by and the grab and go place where you can go in. They have like sandwiches, drinks, fruits. They essentially give you a brown bag lunch that you can take with you because, you know, you'll be gone for God knows how long. And you can grab like two sandwiches, and one of the options is the shredded chicken wrap. And my God, fucking, I'm like 80% sure that chicken was made out of sawdust. Like you put it in your mouth and just all the moisture gone. Your tongue is like turns into like a dry like kitchen sponge that like you leave on the sink for a couple weeks where it like becomes hardly dry, you know? Like you could probably snap it in two. Anyway. Never eat the food in the deed. It'll kill you. Never get the shrimp at midnight chow either. That'll fucking kill you. Okay, I did read that line. I just had to recharge my brain thinking about getting my mind off my traumatic experiences there. Fortunately, that bout of food poisoning wasn't too severe compared to other ones I've had. Like that burrito that gave me food poisoning once, that I had to go to the ER. Oof. This time, it was light. I just fucking puked once and shat my brains out for like an hour, and then I just like felt like shit the rest of the day. Nagamori's asked as she passes by. Can't you tell just by looking? I'm eating lunch. She tilts her head in wonder. In the end, by the time the chime rings for 5th period, Satomura hasn't come back. Wait, did I read her name right? Okay. For some reason, in my brain, out of the corner of my eye, I saw Mura as Muta, and I'm like, wait, that's not even a real name. I wonder if this means she just doesn't like me.
Yeah, 俺に言われても
It's true. There's no point in asking Minami, who has returned from lunch.
そんなことよりも早くどいてくれ
Okay. Just as I get up, Satomura comes back in, followed by the teacher for the next subject. I spend the boring afternoon classes looking through the window at the rain falling over the city. Seems the weather report had been correct. Everyone gets up once the... let's try the sentence again. Everyone gets up at once as the chime rings to announce the end of 6th period. Ooh, are we loner? Nah, we loaning it. I've got no intention of stopping by anywhere on the way back on a rainy day like this. I'm heading straight home. I sling my bag over my back and head out into the corridor. Oh my god, this... I didn't mention it last time, but this green floor? What? Fucking fake grass green, like linoleum floor and pale, sickly yellow walls. Awful. Whoever fucking, like, did the interior design for the school should be fucking taken out back and shot in the head. Maybe it's a depressing rain, but I don't feel like doing anything today. Hey man, that's me most days. I head towards the foyer, mingling with the guys who have no club activities. I step into the entrance hall after class. The rain from this morning is still falling. The weather report had been right on the mark. Still, unsurprisingly, it seems that everyone's remembered to bring an umbrella today, so there isn't anybody lingering helplessly behind either. I guess the guys from the sports clubs must be getting the day off too. I better go home too, given this weather. Of course, when it comes to my club, the weather isn't a problem, it's more a question of mood. Exchanging a few quick words with some acquaintances on the way home, I set about changing my clothes. Shoes. You could just change your clothes in the middle of the fucking hallway like this. It would just be really weird. Huh? Someone sneezes right behind me. Did you lose to cover your mouth? I casually turn around, only to be met with the gaze of my classmate. It's as if we've been linked by fate today. We've been so distant up until now. Maybe it's all coming out once today. You good? 3 sneezes. That's cold, right? No? You alright?
何が
You've got a cold, haven't you?
大丈夫
No, she could just be having a sneezing fit, dude. The words are barely out of her mouth before she sneezes a 4th time. You should go and get some cold medicine from the infirmary.
大丈夫です
I hear the cold going around this year is bad. Of course, I hear that every year.
大丈夫です
You she unconcerned about this year's cold, or just confident that she won't catch it? Either way, I don't think she has any basis for her beliefs. Look, can't you just be a little more friendly? I'm worried about you.
要件はそれだけですか？
She's not listening to a word I'm saying. No, there's more. Weren't you trying to tell me something this morning? That expression of reliance she had shown. What? Reliance? Okay. That expression of reliance she had shown me when she stopped me.
気のせいです。
She lowers her eyes and moves to walk past me. No, it wasn't. I'm sure of it.
気のせいです。
She stands with her back to me as she speaks. I see. Well, I don't care even if it is just my imagination. Either way, you should take care of yourself. Really, you should. Well, see you tomorrow.
はい。
With a minute nod, she opens her umbrella and leaves the entrance hall. It's the same umbrella I saw this morning at the empty lot. I sure am persistent, I think to myself. It's raining, not that it matters for my club activities, but I decide to head straight home without showing up anyway. I walk along the road back home while looking over the rain-covered streets. Never did stop raining today. Drying my rain-soaked uniform by the stove, I turn on the TV. I'm gonna assume he means like a space heater, because, you know, this house looks a little too modern to have a wood stove. Or I guess they could have like a pellet stove, but I don't know if like those are a thing in Japan. And I doubt he's like fucking turned on his actual stove and just like put his top next to it, because that'd be weird. I spent some time channel surfing, and before I know it, it's 1 o'clock. I put my completely dry uniform up on the hanger before getting into bed. Closing my eyes, I easily fall asleep. Sound of the curtain being drawn back, letting in the dazzling sunlight pierced. There was a comma there, drawn back, letting in a dazzling sunlight that pierces my eyelids.
ほら、起きなさいよ。
Let me sleep for just 3 more days.
3日も寝てたら衰弱しちゃうよ。
It's the usual morning. She really does think of herself as my mother, doesn't she? Oh, that's gonna be weird if we're dating her. I mean, mommy GF though is like a thing that people are into. No judgment. As usual, my sheets are stripped away. Flop. But today, they're put back.
裸だよ。
Oh, that's fine. I sleep naked too. Huh? Huh? I sit up and peek below the sheets. I'm not wearing so much as a thread. What the? Nagamori, you...
誤解だよ。何もするわけないよ。
Then why am I naked?
知らないよ。布団剥いだら裸だったんだよ。
Look, you don't go after all this trouble just to get me to...
冗談言ってる時間があったら支度しようよ。はい。
She passes me my uniform and bag. Just as I expected. Seems my plan to frame her in a compromising position and revel in my superiority was defeated halfway through. Cool. So, that happens. Not sure how I feel about that one, Chief. I just wanted you to see me the way I was born.
見たいわけないよ、そんなもの。
Really? Don't you want to see how manly I've become since we used to bathe together?
お風呂なんか一緒に入ったことないもん。
I'm sure we have.
それより早くしないとほんと遅刻するよ。
Yeah, you're right.
ねえ、でもさ、本当一緒にお風呂なんて入ったことないよね。
I'm telling you, we have.
ないよ。 公平の裸なんて覚えてないもん。
And after all those times we played together in the bathtub, too. I was a really curious brat back then. There probably isn't a single part of your body that I haven't touched before.
人に聞かれたら勘違いされること言わないでよ。
I remember how you refused to come into the bath without bringing your toy, saying that you'd be bored.
嘘だ。そんなおもちゃなんて持ってお風呂入ったことないもん。
Really? I'm sure that you have. It was something that Nagamori always carried around with her. Now, what was it again?
公平、考え事しながら走ると危ないよ。
Look, I'm not gonna run into anything again. Huh? We collide. But I'm not someone who makes the same mistake twice. Just before the collision, I thrust my elbow outwards to the other person's stomach. Oh my god. That ought to keep him down for a while. Right, let's get out of here. She jerks her face upward from the ground. Oh, it's Nanase.
あれ、七瀬じゃない。あんた、あんな勢いでぶつかってきておいて、さらに肘鉄入れるなんて、むちゃくちゃよ。
Actually, I thought I'd gotten my elbow in there just right.
女の子にすることか。
You know what we gotta do. Still, I'm guessing you won't be able to get up for a while, so I'll be running away after all.
そんな、ダメだって。
I'll leave you to look after her. I've gotta go to school.
私もあるって。私もあるのよ。
See if I care. I escape while being bombarded with sounds of protest from behind. Dang, this dude's a fucking asshole. Like, I know generally, like, key protagonists, they're like that snarky kind of, guy who likes to play pranks kind of thing, but this dude, he's just kind of mean. Like, fucking what's-his-nuts from Air. He's a literal bum, so, but he's funny. This dude, he's funny, but, you know, all I'm saying is Tomoya would never fucking elbow someone in the stomach and run off. Well, maybe Sunahara, but... I dash to the entrance hall as the chime rings. Whew, looks like I made it somehow. Suddenly, I'm sent flying into a group of chattering students by a kick from behind. Sorry, someone behind me just... I turn to find Nansei and Nagamori standing there. You. How shameless can you get? It seems she's fine after all.
めちゃくちゃ走ってきたんだよ。疲れた。
You guys need to work on your cardio. But clearly you weren't running too hard because you're not sweating.
でも七瀬さん、お腹痛めてたのに、ものすごく速くてびっくりしたよ。まあ、ちょっとだけ体力には自信あるかも。
You're not actually a guy, are you?
あんた、ものすごく失礼なこと聞いてるわよ。あ、先生来たよ。
Her voice is a signal for us to return to our individual seats.
おい。
I'm just about to nod off when someone calls me. The voice belongs to Sumi? Sumi? I don't know. From the neighboring desk.
そんなものが回ってきた。見ておけ。
Oh, what's this? I accept the page of notepad paper. We would like to announce the holding of a popularity contest for the girls in our class. Voting shall be conducted in secret and limited to the boys. The deadline for submitting a vote is tomorrow. It's another one of those things. The guys around the window aisle, like Sumi, and me, have a tendency to think up stupid diversions and put them into practice. Passing this notice around during class is just another way to occupy ourselves. That, and it makes it less likely that the girls will find out. Hey, passing this thing around. I passed a scrap of paper to Nanase. Wait, I'm not supposed to pass it to a girl. She's reading it. Now she'll definitely have a thing or two to say to me during the next break. I'm not going.
ちょっと廊下まで来て。ってどうして先に返事してるのよあんた。
Well, I could see what you were about to ask.
いいから来なさいって。
What, you gonna try to fucking make us vote for you? It's really going ahead. We'll probably have a ranking too.
これって本当に実施されるの？順位とかつくの？って何まだ先に答えてるのよあんたは。
Your next line will be... Like I said, I can predict what you're about to do.
ああ、知らないでいればよかった。こんなこと。つまり男子の理想となる女性を決めるってことでしょ？
She won't say it out loud, but I suppose she's thinking that ideal girl equals proof that she's a lady.
気になる気になる。
I'll bet. Well, just sleep and wait for tomorrow.
あのさ、現時点での順位とかわかるかな？
I don't think they have, I don't think they would have gathered too many votes just yet.
いいからお願い。
Well, I guess it's just a matter of asking Sumi. Hold on for a sec.
ごめんね。どうだった？
It was shocking.
え？
Nanase, you're leading by a mile.
嘘、本当に？
Incidentally, you're currently ahead by 2 votes.
やったー！ってどこが独走中よ、アホ！
I told you, they haven't gathered many votes yet. Only 5 people have voted so far.
そうなの？
But if you think of it in terms of percentages, I'd say you're on the way to victory.
そうね。
That's why you better spend the next 3 days without doing anything to wreck your image with the boys. Your popularity is gonna plummet if you do something like fart in front of everyone.
コークか！
Well, anyhow, knowing you, you'll be fine so long as you act normally.
本当に？
Yeah, just so long as you act normally.
では今日はそこの列だな。
The English teacher points at the window aisle. In other words, our aisle.
わかる。
What's wrong? Why are you panicking?
知ってるでしょ？英語苦手なんだもん。
How? It's so easy, says the native English speaker. Just be honest and say, I don't know.
そんな。
Kind of do the wink with like your tongue sticking out and like lightly bonk yourself on the head with one hand. She's probably worried about how she'll rank in the poll.
ねえ、折原、英語得意じゃなかった？
Really? This guy? Well, I'm probably better at it than you are.
じゃあ教えて、ほらここ。
The party was concluded with 3 cheers. Seems we'll be asked to translate this into Japanese. Well, I guess I could probably manage it if I had a dictionary. Huh? Nwah! I lent it to someone in a different class.
ほら、私より得意なんでしょ？
Yeah. Let's see. Party means celebration, right? And concluded means ended, right? The party ended, but in what way? 3 cheers? What the heck is a cheer? Talking about a party that's coming to an end. A round of applause? But wait, it says 3. Hip, hip, and hooray. 3. Oh, I've got it. I've got it, not to say.
教えて教えて。
It's the party ended with 3 cheers.
そうなんだ。ありがとう、折原。
She turns to face forward. I wonder if that was right? No, that's right. Yeah, that's probably right. Now then, I better start translating my own line as I choke.
では一節ずつ英文を発音してもらった後に訳していってもらおう。
One by one, from the head of the aisle, the students stand up and translate the lines into Japanese. No one seems to have made any dramatic mistakes, as the teacher simply watches and nods. Finally, it's Nanasei's turn.
The party was concluded with 3 cheers. 万歳三唱でそのパーティーは終わった。
Yeah. I waited for the teacher to nod before I get up and translate my line.
大体はいいな。細かいところを言うとだな。
It was fine. I'll play it again.
万歳三唱でそのパーティーは終わった。
No, that was Japanese. Give me the eigo.
Party was concluded with 3 cheers.
Understandable. I give it a pass. You know, pronunciation could use a little work, but you know, that's you know, something you can work on later. He moves on to explaining each line without criticizing anyone's translation in particular. Whew. That was no small feat, given that I didn't have a dictionary, even if I do say so myself.
助かった、折原。
If you want to thank me, just call me Can-Do Orihara-kun from now on. That's a
呼
little
んであ
weird.
げてもいいけど、相当に格好悪いわよ。
Yeah, you're right. Okay, call me Killer Orihara instead.
それじゃ殺し屋じゃない。
I see.
ところでさ、このクラスじゃどの子が人気あるんだろう。
That's our Nanase. Thinking of secretly taking them out?
違うわよ。
Yeah, that's a hard one. After all, our class is pretty much the bottom of the barrel. Oof!
あの子、
Fucking
水香だ
rude.
から。
Yeah, who? But... Huh? I unwittingly cry out in confusion. The only person who'd vote for her would probably be me. And that'd be out of pity.
そうかな。結構集まるんじゃない？
Well, I guess she might be popular with the girls.
別に同性じゃなくても受けはいいと思うけど、あんた見慣れすぎてるんじゃないの？
It's true that I see her almost as a sister. Maybe that's why I find it so hard to accept. I'll go and have a look. Hey, Nagamori! I cut into her conversation with one of her female friends.
何？浩平。
I stare intently into her face. There's nothing particularly wrong with it. It's not as if her chin is sharp enough to stab someone with, and her nostrils don't exactly face forward or anything. It's nicely balanced, I'll admit that, but that's all. Yes, it's a face composed of passing grade features. There's nothing particularly good or bad about it. Okay, I've got it. Thanks. I pat Nagamori on the shoulder before returning to my seat.
どうだった？
There aren't any faults with her, but that's all. That's just typical of her. She's the same way with Tess. She always gets an above average mark in every subject, but never full marks.
するとあんたは赤点だらけでも満点が一つあればいいのね。毛深くて腰回りが胸より太くて横脚でも指さえ手垂れのように美しければ水香よりもいいのね。
Oof. No. That's taking the argument to extremes.
何が何でも水香のこと認めたくないみたいなんだもん。
Well, even from an objective point of view, she's really not all that great. Hey, Sumi.
なんだ
Oh, look at this fucking One Sprite Wonder best friend character. Sorry, but I need another update on the boats.
どうした？やけに熱心だな。誰か応援でもしてるのか？
Why is your tie like that? Almost looks more like a fucking neckerchief than a tie. Something about the knot. It's like weirdly square instead of actually looking like how a tie is supposed to. Well, no, but just tell me.
どうで？
Fishing a crumpled up note from his pocket, he skillfully unfolds it with one hand.
だな。今んとこトップはタイで2人だな。七瀬さんと長森さん。得票数ともに5だ。
Why are you speaking so quiet, guy? Nagamori. But last time I asked, she didn't have one vote. Did 5 people vote for her as a joke?
バカ、長森ファンは多いんだぜ。お前が知らないだけだ。ちなみに俺は長森さんがトップを取ると思うぜ。
Now it's you who's the idiot. There's no way she'll come in first. Nanase-san will break well into the lead in no time.
ならかけるか、昼飯。
Sure, you're on. Now I'm no longer just a spectator. The class goes on while I worry about the poll results. But I can't be the only one who isn't listening to a word the teacher's saying. As the chime rings for the end of 4th period, I take my sweetened buns out of my bag. Minami, I'll be borrowing your seat again. I sit down without waiting for a reply, turning around to face backwards. Huh? There's no one there.
またここで食べるの？
Before I know it, Nagamori has drawn up by my side. That was the plan, but it's not as if I wanted to eat by myself. Hey, have you seen, Oh god, I just completely had a stroke and lost the ability to read. Satomura.
里村さん？
Yeah, Satomura-san.
授業が終わったらすぐに出て行ったと思うけど。
Damn it, she got away. Do you know where she went?
どこかまではわからないけど。
It's probably somewhere where she can eat her lunch, she adds.
出て行くとき、お弁当の包みが見えたから。
I see. I'll bet that means she's on the roof.
今の季節にそんな人いないよ。
And who was it that was eating up there just a few days ago?
あれはだって公平が。
She hurriedly explains herself. You're the one who came up after
だ
me.
って。
Okay, don't worry, I get it. I cut Nagamori off mid-sentence. What I call her? Don't worry about it. This isn't the time for debate. Is there anywhere other than the roof where someone could eat their lunch? The cafeteria?
とか。
You can eat your lunch in a lot of places, my guy. It's cold in the courtyard too, isn't it? Well, yeah, but you don't got the wind.
でも屋上ほどじゃないよ。
Especially if it's like, depending on the school shape, if it's like boxed in by the building. Well, that's true, but still.
あとそれから学食かもしれないよ。
It's true that people sometimes bring their own lunches into the cafeteria. I guess it's not out of the question. Okay, got it. Thanks. I get up from the seat and leave the classroom. Now then, what should I do? That is a very good question. What shall we do? In fact, such a good question that I'll need to think on it. Think on it for a whole day. And then come back the day after and make my decision. On the next episode of 1, because that's where we are ending it for today. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all next time for the next episode of 1, where we will decide on where we're going to eat lunch and if we're still going to stalk this girl. Hope to see you all there. Later.